Right now, as you listen to this, you are making a mistake that is costing you everything. You are too available. Every time you say yes to everyone else, you say no to yourself. What happens when you stretch yourself too thin? You lose your value. You become just another option, easily forgotten. This episode will help you reclaim your worth by understanding the trap of being too available. You'll learn how to set boundaries without guilt. You will discover the power of selective engagement in your life. I want you to pause right now and comment, "My worth is not for sale," below. Write it. Own it. Let every like on your comment remind you of this promise. Availability does not equal value. Remember that, and prepare yourself to explore the deeper implications of this truth. The next step is crucial, and it will change how you engage with the world around you. The poison: why overavailability diminishes your worth. Now here is where most people completely fall apart. They confuse being available with being valuable. They think that by always being present for others, they are serving a purpose. But in reality, they are just making themselves disposable. Consider the story of Cato the Younger. Cato was a Roman statesman known for his strong principles and unyielding character. He didn't bend to the pressures of the time. In fact, Cato was famous for refusing to be available to anyone who didn't respect his values. He understood that his worth was not determined by how much he catered to the whims of others. He lived with integrity and demanded respect. By holding firm, he strengthened not only his own worth, but also the respect others had for him. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you think you must always be available, your identity becomes colored by others' demands. You lose the essence of who you are. You must realize this. Overavailability poisons your self-worth. When you are everywhere for everyone, you become just another option. You lose your power, your uniqueness, and your ability to make a real impact. Imagine this. You have a friend who always agrees to go out, always puts others first. What happens? They become the last to be remembered when plans are made. Their willingness to be available cheapens their presence. Because of their predictability, their absence isn't noticed. Now pay attention. This is the real lesson. You must be selective. You must choose where to invest your time and energy. Your presence should be a privilege granted only to those who recognize your value. Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to write down 3 areas where you can be less available. Maybe it's a toxic friendship or an obligation that drains you. Make this a tangible change. Protect your time as if it were your wealth. But here is the part nobody talks about. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you are being selfish. It means you are being strong. Strong enough to say no to the things that diminish your worth. Your time is limited, and you have the power to control how you use it. So, reinforce this idea in your mind. Your availability does not define your value. Now that you understand this, let me show you how to turn this knowledge into action. The mirage, the illusion of being always there. Now here is where most people completely fall apart. The illusion of always being there can feel like a badge of honor. It can trick you into thinking you are indispensable. Yet, this mirage is dangerous. It hides the truth that your worth is not defined by your availability. Consider the story of Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher. He was once a slave, bound by others' commands. Despite the chains, he refused to allow his value to be dictated by another's whims. He learned to say no to the expectations placed upon him. He focused on what truly mattered, his character and integrity. "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters," he said. This means that the world can throw demands at you, but your response defines you. When you choose not to be at everyone's beck and call, you reclaim your strength. You regain control over your life. So here's the lesson. Being there for everyone dilutes your power. You are not a convenience store. You are not meant to be open 24/7. Each yes to someone else is a no to yourself. Take action. Right now, make a list of people, situations, or obligations that drain your energy. Decide which ones you can say no to. This isn't merely about removing toxic influences. It's about reinforcing your value. You deserve to be surrounded by those who appreciate your presence. You deserve to choose where to invest your time. But here is the part that stings. Everyone is not your responsibility. You cannot save or please everyone. The truth is, by trying, you might ruin yourself. Now, if this is hitting different right now, do one thing for me. Hit that subscribe button. Not for me, for the version of you that needs this reminder next week. When you begin to prioritize your time and presence, you'll feel that shift. You will no longer be just another option. Instead, you will be a choice, valued and sought after. But knowing this alone is not enough, because there is something even more dangerous lurking beneath the surface. The shield, setting boundaries to protect your value. Now here is where most people completely fall apart. They confuse availability with value. The truth is, you must set boundaries to protect your worth. If you don't, you risk losing the very thing that makes you strong. Picture this. Marcus Aurelius faced countless challenges as the Roman emperor. He had generals, politicians, and citizens all demanding his attention. Yet amidst the chaos, he understood that he couldn't give his energy to every request. Marcus wrote in his personal reflections, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means you control your focus and energy. By setting boundaries, you retain your power and protect your internal strength. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is necessary. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt drained, trying to meet everyone's expectations? Maybe you've said yes to every invitation, every request, and in doing so, lost sight of what truly mattered to you. This next part changed everything for me. To set boundaries, start by identifying your values. What do you truly care about? What energizes you? Once you know this, it's time to put up your shield. Here's a useful action step. Take a moment and write down 3 things that matter most to you. These could be your family, career goals, or personal growth. Now, look at your calendar. How many of your commitments align with these values? Are you spending time on what truly matters? Or are you just filling your schedule to please others? Decide right now to protect those values. When someone asks for your time, ask yourself, does this align with my top priorities? If it doesn't, it's okay to say no. Remember, every time you say yes to someone else, you may be saying no to yourself. Here is where it gets dangerous. If you allow others to dictate your time and energy, you risk losing your identity. You become a mere echo of what everyone else wants you to be. But here is the good news. When you set those boundaries and stick to them, you build respect. You train others to understand that your time is valuable. Start practicing today. When a friend or coworker makes a request, pause before you respond. Ask yourself if it aligns with your values. If it does, then you can consider it. If it doesn't, kindly decline. You may feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is the price of growth. By reinforcing your boundaries, you reinforce your value. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. You will notice a shift. You will feel empowered. People will start to see you not just as an option, but as a valued choice. This brings us to an essential truth. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no. It's about saying yes to yourself. Now that you understand this, let me show you the weapon that makes it stick. The weapon, assertiveness as your new superpower. Now here is where most people completely fall apart. When it comes to assertiveness, many hesitate. They confuse it with aggression. They think being assertive means being rude or confrontational. But that is a lie. Assertiveness is a superpower. It is about being clear, direct, and honest about your needs. It empowers you to express your thoughts while respecting others. Look at Marcus Aurelius. He faced enormous pressure each day as Roman emperor. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is assertiveness in action. It's about taking control of your own thoughts and actions. When you stand firm in your values, you become a fortress against the chaos of outside opinions. Think about a time when you were afraid to speak up. Maybe it was during a meeting. You had an idea, but you didn't share it. You worried about what others might think. You let fear silence you. Now imagine if you had spoken up. What if you had shared your perspective? You might have changed the course of that discussion. Assertiveness is not just power. It is also responsibility. When you assert yourself, you pave the way for honest conversations. You encourage others to do the same. So what's your action step? Start small. This week, Identify one situation where you can assert yourself. It could be as simple as asking for what you need. Maybe you need more time on a project, or you want to express how you feel in a relationship. Take a moment to prepare what you want to say. Write it down if you need to. Then, find a way to deliver your message clearly and calmly. Remember, you are not taking away someone else's voice. You are giving yours a place in the conversation. If this is hitting different right now, do one thing for me. Hit that subscribe button. Not for me, for the version of you that needs this reminder next week. You cannot underestimate the impact of your words. When you start asserting your needs, you create a culture of respect. You encourage others to stand up for themselves too. But here is the part nobody talks about. Assertiveness requires practice. It is like any other skill. You will stumble at times. You may face pushback, but do not let that deter you. Each time you assert yourself, you build your confidence. You learn from the experience. Over time, you will realize that your voice matters. So embrace this superpower. Remember that each assertive action is a step toward knowing your self-worth. As you move forward, keep this in mind. Your time and energy are limited. Treat them like treasures. With every act of assertiveness, you defend your personal value. You create a life that aligns with your true self. Now that you understand this weapon, the journey to self-worth becomes clear. You have the tools to claim your identity and become the person you were meant to be. The protocol: crafting your availability game plan. Now, let's talk about the protocol for crafting your availability game plan. This is where most people fall apart. They think that saying yes to everyone and everything will make them likable. They believe that being constantly available makes them valuable. That's a lie. Your worth does not come from how much you give of yourself. Your worth comes from how well you protect what you have. Consider the story of Cato the Younger. He was known for his unwavering principles. Cato believed in valuing his time and his convictions above all else. Whenever someone sought him out, he would weigh the request carefully. He didn't say yes to every demand. He understood that his time was a limited resource. Cato famously said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This means we often squander our time by saying yes to things that don't serve us. So what's the lesson here? Your availability is a tool. You control it. You should always ask yourself, is this request in alignment with my goals? Is it worth my time? If the answer is no, learn to say no. Now, here's the action you can take today. Write down your priorities. What activities, relationships, or projects matter the most to you? Identify what you will say yes to and what you will decline. Then, create boundaries. Make a commitment to yourself. Protect your availability fiercely. Here's where it gets dangerous. Once you start setting boundaries, you may face resistance. Some people might not like it, but you need to stand firm. Each time you say no to something unworthy, you are saying yes to yourself. This is not selfish. This is self-respect. You do not owe your time to everyone. As you build this availability game plan, remember this: the best way to prepare for life is to begin to live. This quote by William James echoes the Stoic belief that you must take control of your life. Now that you understand this, you have the power to shape your reality. Craft your availability game plan. Protect your time. Stand firm in your choices. But knowing this alone is not enough, because there is something even more dangerous lurking beneath the surface. The final word: reclaiming your worth. You are on the edge of a crucial moment. Every time you prioritize others over yourself, you lose a piece of your worth. Right now, you are fighting a silent war, a battle against the habits that drain your energy and steal your time. You've learned about the power of availability. Now, it's time to reclaim what belongs to you. This final word is about taking full control of your life. It's about redefining what it means to be valuable. I want you to pause right now and comment, "I reclaim my worth," below. Write it. Own it. Let every like on your comment remind you of this promise. You must remember this. Your worth is not tied to how much you are available to others. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words from Marcus Aurelius remind you that your ability to choose is your greatest power. Now is the time to exercise that power. Reflect on your life and ask yourself, who or what has been taken from you? Are you giving your energy to tasks, relationships, or obligations that do not lift you up. Most people remain unaware of this. They let their lives unfold based on others' demands. They forget their value. Here's the truth. Reclaiming your worth is an act of courage. It takes strength to say no when everyone expects you to say yes. You might feel guilt creeping in. You might worry about disappointing others. But remember, he who is brave is free. This principle from Seneca teaches you that true freedom comes from knowing your value and defending it. What can you do right now? Take a moment to identify one area in your life where you feel undervalued. Write it down. Make a plan to address it. Set a boundary. Stand up for your time and energy. When you reclaim your worth, you create space for what truly matters. You allow yourself to flourish, to grow, and to become the best version of yourself. Each no becomes a yes to your life. Each boundary becomes a fortress around your self-worth. As you take these steps, know this: the journey will not be easy. There will be challenges, but every challenge is an opportunity to reaffirm your strength. You are a warrior in this life. Treat yourself like one. Subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And I will see you in the next one.